Hi, it's Maggie the Irish Gypsy here to bring you your April 2022 general readings. We are looking at the first 2 weeks of April, and this reading is for the air sign of Aquarius. Welcome, everyone. Thanks for taking the time to be here and for all your likes, shares, subscribes, donations, feedback, comments, those of you who reach out for personal readings. I always like to express a little bit of gratitude before we begin. Thank you so much. Okay, Aquarius, this reading is for you for the first 2 weeks of April 2022. That's if your sun, moon, rising, or Venus sign is in Aquarius. It's also relevant if you're cross-watching for an Aquarian. It's a general reading, so of course it's going to resonate a little differently for everyone. Watch all of your signs for any additional insight and perspective they might provide. And if you find that something does resonate with you enough that you'd like to reach out for a personal reading, perhaps take a deeper look at something for yourself or as a gift for someone else, feel free to email me directly at maggie1mcguire@gmail.com. I'd be delighted to hear from you, and I can usually respond within the same day with more information. I do offer a wide variety of readings, and you can also get that contact info by clicking the description link below, that little arrow. Okay, Aquarius. Let's see what's in store for you for the first 2 weeks of April 2022. I am using the Tarot of Dreams and clarifying with the Gilded Tarot. We begin with the Six of Wands: victory, triumph, success, recognition. With the Magician, the Manifestor, the entrepreneur of the tarot. This is somebody who knows how to take what they want in their head and in their heart and pair that desire with their skills, experience, work, time, and hard work in order to manifest something into physical reality. So working hard to manifest something here, victory in something or over something as well. Next, we have the Nine of Swords. As many of you know, my least favorite tarot card, because it's the Nine of Swords, the Nine of Air. Air is the element which governs the suit of swords, and air is over our intellectual landscape, so how we think, ideologies, belief system, perceptions. The Nine of Swords is a card of stress, anxiety, worry, fear, insomnia, and it usually shows up when someone is in fear of an unknown future. And they're stressing about it, and they're trying to project what's going to happen, and it's almost always the worst possible outcome until it gets built up in your head to such a degree that it doesn't actually even, fit the external reality of the situation. It's not necessarily making a mountain out of a molehill. It might be for some of you, but it's not. It's not being able to see or know how things are going to work out, and so you're imagining the worst, right? It doesn't mean that the source of your fear and concern is not valid. It just it represents thinking about it too much, obsessively, and typically negatively. The Nine of Swords comes with the Nine of Cups: wish fulfillment, getting what you want. It's a more visceral kind of getting what you want than the Ten of Cups, which has more of a love, home, family, spiritual connection. The Nine of Cups is a more, having more than enough to eat, more than enough to drink. In relationships, it's less based on love and more based on need or compulsion. Next, we have the Devil: obsessive energy, negative energy, addiction energy, materialism. But it's cyclical too, and that's the nature of obsession and addiction. It's something that we get obsessed with, a person, place, situation, or a product, a thing, and we keep returning to it over and over again, and we keep telling ourselves we need it for whatever reasons we tell ourselves we need it for, and it's a very difficult cycle to break. The devil entraps and enslaves through allurement, through, we need this because of that. You're getting something out of it, right? Which is why you can see this couple here that's in this cage, but the door is open. They could leave if they wanted to, right? With the devil, we have the Queen of Swords: Aquarius, Gemini, Libra, Sun, Moon, Rising, or Venus, which is you for most of you. Some of you, it might be another air sign, but for many of you, this is you. It feels perhaps like trying to break a negative cycle of something that one side of you really wants, the other side of you knows isn't good for you. From the bottom of the deck, the overall energy is the Seven of Wands, defending, protecting, guarding, holding on, with the Two of Cups, soulmate, kindred spirits, best friends. So a relationship is central here, or significant and influential here. Now, that relationship for the Two of Cups, it might be a love romance relationship. It could be best friends. So for some of you, it's perhaps holding on to a relationship that you perhaps is not good for you, or that you view as your soulmate, kindred spirit, but it might not be. This might represent for some of you breaking the cycle of an unhealthy relationship, an addictive relationship, or a relationship where there's too much codependency. For some of you, it might be if you're fighting a literal addiction or obsession in some other area of life. For some of you, this might be, soulmate, kindred spirit, love romance, or best friend trying to help you overcome this. So let's move into clarifying some of this. Let's clarify that overall energy of the Seven of Wands with the Two of Cups. If it's just about the relationship itself, this is really wanting to hold on to that relationship. Clarify the overall energy. The Page of Cups. Little messages of love, support, encouragement. Could be flirtatious messages, but that's likely not what it is here. The Chariot. Staying focused on your goals, ambition, success on a difficult path. Maybe trying and failing, but continuing until you break through, until you win. Again, I'm getting two different kind of versions here, that for some of you, this is about wanting to hold on to a relationship in which there are some negative, unhealthy cycles, if not the relationship itself. For others of you, you're trying to address an addiction or an obsession in some other area of life, or some negative cycle, toxic cycle in your life, but you're getting support and encouragement from your Two of Cups individual, whether it's love romance based or best friend. Let's clarify the Six of Wands. Victory, success. The Six of Wands is clarified by the Six of Wands. Victory, success, recognition, moving up, bonuses, promotions. The Emperor. Fathers, father figures, somebody of seniority, status, decision-making ability. In a company, it would be a CEO or a VIP. In a courtroom, it would be a judge. Some of you, this might not be relationship-oriented as much as it might be obsessively wanting something in another area of life and obsessively working towards that. It might be a position, a role, a particular job. Clarify the Magician. The Three of Wands, beginning to see your efforts paying off, feeling much more positive and hopeful about the future. This is kind of more of a gestative, waiting, patient card. It represents having done some of the footwork. You're feeling good about what you've done so far, and you're waiting to see further results, but feeling hopeful, positive, and optimistic. Clarify the Nine of Swords, stress, anxiety, worry, fear. There's a fear here. I mean, the Nine of Swords and the Nine of Cups is literally, having a lot of stress, worrying a lot, obsessively, negatively worrying that you're not going to get what it is that you want. The Hanging Man, which has similar, although more profound energy than the Three of Wands, because it's also a card about waiting. It's a card specifically about not taking any decisive actions, not making any moves just yet, because you're waiting, you're watching, something's still playing out, you're gaining new information. It might be a uncomfortable place to be, but it's transitional. The Ten of Cups, the happy home, white picket fence energy. This is definitely something that's going to potentially affect your home and family life, whether it's about a relationship itself, about an addiction or obsession in another area of life that or habit that you're trying to overcome, where you may or may not be getting, you may be getting help and support from your partner, mate, or best friend. For some of you, it might be in the work career arena. You're, been working really hard to try and manifest perhaps a new position or a raise, a promotion to a higher level role or a higher status role, which would have an outcome, of course, an impact on your home and family life. Let's clarify that Nine of Cups. And again, for some of you, it's simply a relationship. It might be that obsessive, addictive patterns, whether it's classical addictions like drugs or alcohol or something, gambling, sex, food, shopping, it may be that you're struggling to overcome something also within your home and family life as well. Clarify Nine of Cups. The Seven of Wands again. So the Nine of Cups is your wish fulfillment, is getting what you want. The Seven of Wands is wanting to hold on to that. But you're waiting. It feels like you're in this waiting period. You're waiting to see how something's playing out. You've put in the work that you can. You're waiting. You're maybe imagining the worst while you're waiting. Let's clarify the Devil. The Sun, the Ten of Wands, struggling to rid yourself of a long-held, heavy burden. The Ten of Wands, tends to represent cycle completion or coming full circle. And the Ten of Wands represents carrying a burden. It may not have started out as a burden, but it's grown to become quite a burden, and it's at an end, or it needs to come to an end. There's a sense of feeling overwhelmed and needing to lay this burden down. It's interesting because the Sun and the Devil are two pretty significant and profound major arcana cards. And typically when these show up together, it represents that there's two quite contradictory or opposing life forces or ideologies at work here, kind of sparring with each other, or, it's a struggle, right? Because they're contradictory energies, the Devil and the Sun, yes and no, light and dark. The release of restrictive energies, addictions, bad habits, all of that kind of stuff, illumination, lightness, being free. And the Devil represents the opposite. And the Ten of Wands can speak to that struggle and how exhausting and weary that struggle makes you feel. And also, whatever this negative, toxic cycle that the Devil represents, it really needs to come to an end. I feel like this situation is kind of stands on the edge of a knife right now, so to speak, and you're struggling to kind of find your way through this. It's a general reading, so what that Devil card actually represents, what is the good, unhealthy thing here for you and what isn't. In a general reading, this can be a variety of different things. Again, I'm getting that there's one thing about a relationship here that isn't healthy, but that you're having difficulty, and that, but you're having difficulty letting go of it because you feel like this person is your soulmate. But if for those of you for whom that resonates, the Devil card would not be a healthy relationship that was good for you. For some of you, it might be like a classic addiction, trying to break bad habits, bad addictions, getting help from your best friend or soulmate, your partner here in overcoming that. Others of you, because this is a general reading, the specifics may vary and the intensity will certainly vary. So others of you, it might be, a work situation or some kind of role or position that you've just been obsessively going for. To a lesser degree, that's not, as toxic or challenging. It could just be being incredibly obsessively focused and ambitious on career, and as long as that's not causing, negative, unhealthy things in the rest of your life, there's nothing wrong with that, and it could be that you're waiting to hear from the big boss here, the emperor, what the outcome of that's going to be. You've done, you've put some work into it and now you're waiting, but during the waiting period, there's all this stress and anxiety. So, forewarned is forearmed. That's why we do these readings. You can cut down on some of that. A real determination not to let go of that which you have invested so much in already. And again, if that's work, career, fair enough. In relationship, it feels like it's unhealthy here. So let's ask for some advice and guidance here from Spirit. I'm also getting that some of you, there's an addiction problem, whether it's you or your partner. It might be, your partner that has the addiction or obsessive, compulsive something going on. And there's definitely, there's an influence here on home and family life, right? And the relationship itself. Advice and guidance for Aquarius. The thing I don't like about it is that there's a sense of, is the Devil card. I mean, there's a sense of a desperation here, Trying to break free of something, trying to move on. Advice and guidance. Strength, facing your fears, doubts, insecurities, perhaps looking at the part that you've had to play, wrestling with your shadow self, we call it, which is just a way of taking a look at the things we really don't like to look at in ourselves, character defects, the part that we've had to play in challenging or painful situations. It takes strength, courage, wisdom, and humility to do that, but it's because that's the only way we can confront something, gain victory over it, and move on. But those are also the same qualities we gain more of by going through that process. Death, final endings, once and for all endings, which kind of shows for many of you, Aquarius, this is something that needs to be let go of, this obsessive, toxic, negative cycle. The Star, renewed and restored hope, faith, and optimism, because that's where your hope for a better future comes from. Is putting something to rest, burying something, letting something die out once and for all. That's how you get renewed and restored hope, faith, and optimism. Moving forward. Knowing that your joy and fulfillment lies on the other side of this thing ending. All right, I think I'm just going to leave it there. Kind of an intense reading, Aquarius. Those are your messages for the first 2 weeks of April. I hope they were helpful or useful, at least in some way, or gave you some food for thought. Again, if any of this resonates with you enough that you'd like to reach out for a personal reading, take a deeper look at something for yourself or as a gift for someone else, feel free to email me directly at maggie1mcguire@gmail.com. I'd be delighted to hear from you. You can also get that contact info from clicking the description link below. I will see you again in a couple of weeks, Aquarius, for the mid-month readings for April. Until then, stay safe and well. Hope to see you back here again soon. Bye-bye.